My ex tried to hide assets by transferring money to her brother before the divorce. What she didn't know, I already hired a forensic accountant. The day we sat in court and I pulled out the spreadsheets, her lawyer literally froze mid-sentence. Alright, let's not pretend I'm the first guy who got blindsided in divorce court. I mean, every dude I know's got at least one story, and here I was thinking I was gonna be the exception. Dumb. I'm 41, been grinding in finance for nearly 2 decades, built everything I got with my own 2 hands. No silver spoon, no safety nets. Just work. And yeah, I thought I picked a woman who actually respected that. Keyword, thought. See, when we first met, she played the supportive role like a damn professional. She loved the hustle, loved the stability, loved the fact that I could handle things. And maybe that's where I screwed up, made everything too easy for too long. Fast forward a few years, some success, a bigger house, and suddenly her vibe starts changing. Little comments, weird little spending habits, harmless shopping sprees that I was apparently too controlling for questioning. Red flags everywhere, but you tell yourself marriage has ups and downs, right? Until the day she hits me with the I need space to figure out who I really am. Bro, translation? She already figured it out, it just didn't include me. And you know what's wild? Even then, I was ready to handle this like an adult. Fair split, walk away, done. But nah. She had a whole playbook I didn't even see coming. By the way, before I get any deeper into this mess, if you're still watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button, helps this channel grow and honestly keeps me sane while dumping all this garbage out for you guys. Trust me, you're gonna wanna hear how bad it got. I should have known when she started throwing around words like personal growth and self-discovery. That's always the starter pack for whatever midlife crisis TikTok's pushing these days. But again, I played it cool. Let her have her yoga retreats, her finding herself podcasts, her overpriced therapy sessions that basically just fed her ego. Whatever. I was still handling the bills, still handling the mortgage, still doing the grown man part of this whole deal. But here's where things really started getting sideways. Random transfers started showing up on our joint accounts. Couple hundred here, 1,000 there, always with some half-ass explanation. She was helping family, loaning it to a friend temporarily, or my personal favorite, you wouldn't understand, it's complicated. Right? Complicated. Like hiding cash before filing for divorce isn't textbook shady. I'm not stupid. I've seen enough of these financial games at work to know when someone's laying the foundation for a screw job. So I did what any guy with 2 brain cells left would do, called in a forensic accountant before she even filed. Quiet. Private. No drama. Just quietly documenting every little side transfer she was trying to sneak out under my nose. She thought she was playing chess while I was still setting up the board. She had no clue I was already 3 moves ahead. Honestly, bro, that's what burned the most. Not even the money part, though trust me, that pissed me off plenty, but the fact that after 8 damn years, she still thought I was dumb enough to miss all this. Like I hadn't been reading balance sheets since my 20s. And yeah, we'll get to the part where everything explodes in court, believe me, that moment was worth every second. But first, let me break down how deep this little operation of hers went. Because this wasn't some impulsive move. She planned it. For months. Maybe longer. And watching it all unravel? That's where the real story begins. The funny part? If she hadn't gotten greedy, she probably could have walked away with half clean and I wouldn't have blinked. But nah. She wanted to be clever. She started funneling little chunks into her brother's account, like I wasn't gonna notice a guy who still lives in a 2-bedroom rental suddenly getting multiple wire transfers from our joint checking. Seriously. If you're gonna pull a move like that, at least pick an accomplice who knows how to keep his digital trail clean. This dude was Venmo-ing his landlord and buying vape pens while he's supposedly holding tens of thousands for her. At first, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I really did. I'm not out here trying to catch people slipping. But then the business consulting invoices started popping up. Random shell company she set up, one that, surprise, had her brother listed as the sole proprietor. Like, come on. Now I'm insulted. You think I can't Google a damn LLC? I literally file taxes for a living. And the timing? Perfectly lined up right before she blindsided me with the whole, I think we've grown apart speech. Like clockwork. I'm sitting there listening to her talk about her healing journey while my accountant buddy is sending me PDF files of flagged transactions she was too lazy to hide properly. You ever sit across from someone smiling at you while you already know they're lying straight through their teeth? Yeah, that's a special kind of anger right there. It's not even rage. It's this cold, heavy weight like, wow, you really think I'm that dude. So I didn't argue. I let her run her script. The tears. The fake guilt. The whole we can still be friends routine. Meanwhile, I'm quietly building a file so thick I had to buy a new external hard drive. Screenshots, transfer logs, messages, corporate filings, the whole damn circus. And bro, I'll be real, a part of me wanted her to keep digging. Every time she moved another grand, I was like, thank you for your cooperation. Because once the court date hit, I was dropping a bomb she didn't even see coming. Anyway, that was just phase 1. Her little side hustle was barely scratching the surface compared to what came next. And trust me, that's where the real fun started. And let's be real here, this wasn't her first rodeo. I mean, now that I look back, all the little signs were there way before the divorce talks even started. She always had a way of playing that poor me card with her family too. Like, anytime I didn't jump to buy her the newest iPhone on release day, it somehow became the sob story for her mom. And yeah, her mom ate it up like clockwork. Suddenly, I'm the guy who's controlling because I said maybe we don't need to drop $1,000 on a phone when rent's due next week. But back then, I thought it was just family drama, annoying but harmless. Yeah, harmless my ass. Then there was that vacation fund. You know how couples save for a trip? Right? We had this joint account we called Italy 2024. Cute name, solid plan. I was throwing in my part religiously. She? Well, turns out Italy was code for her brother's crypto losses because every few weeks, money would quietly slide out for some unexpected expenses. And somehow her brother always ended up posting photos with new sneakers, flashy watches, and those dumb weekend getaways to Vegas. Like, dude, you don't gamble for networking. You gamble because you suck at math. At some point it hit me like, man, I was basically funding both their lifestyles while being fed this crap about supporting family. And you know how we as guys do, you shrug it off at first. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself it's marriage. You don't want to be that paranoid husband always checking bank statements. But that trust? That's exactly what she played on. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I gotta be honest here, the disrespect wasn't even just the money. It was the planning. The arrogance. Like they were building this little heist behind my back assuming I'd just roll over. My father always told me it's not the lie that breaks you, it's that they thought you were dumb enough to believe it. Yeah, he wasn't wrong. So while she's sitting there all calm like, maybe we should start separating finances for a clean transition, I'm already 20 steps ahead building my digital war chest. Every dollar, every text, every line neatly cataloged. And the more she talked, the more I just nodded and smiled, thinking, keep going, sweetheart, dig that hole nice and deep. What really sealed it? The smug little conversations she started having with her friends, not knowing that one of them, bless her heart, had zero poker face and a loose mouth after 2 glasses of cheap rose. She let it slip at a mutual friend's dinner that once everything's finalized, Lisa's gonna be way better off financially. I just sat there eating my steak, pretending not to hear it. But in my head, done deal. And that's when I pulled the trigger on phase 2. Because if she thought she was the only one who knew people, she was about to learn real quick. So here's where things started getting fun. And by fun, I mean the kind of slow burn train wreck where you see the smoke miles before the crash, but you just watch anyway, sip your coffee, and take notes. Because at this point, I'm already done being blindsided. Yeah? Now I'm in recon mode. You see, one thing I learned real quick, if you want to catch someone lying about money, don't follow the person. Follow the paper. People lie. Numbers don't. First thing I did? I hired a forensic accountant. Yeah, not cheap, but trust me, worth every damn dollar. Dude was a monster. Quiet, polite, glasses that looked like they belonged to someone who hasn't seen daylight since 2003, but man, could he dig. Within a few weeks, he had spreadsheets, charts, color-coded timelines that made my head spin. Offshore transfers. Loans taken out under both their names. Weird gifts to her brother marked as consulting fees. Like, consulting what exactly? For night strategies? And you know what's wild? The sheer confidence they had. Like they genuinely thought nobody would ever look past the surface. That somehow I'd be too heartbroken or overwhelmed to bother checking. Nah. See, heartbreak is temporary. But financial ruin? That sticks. And I don't play games when it comes to my future. Meanwhile, she's still doing her little manipulations on the front end. Trying to play the amicable divorce card every chance she gets. Texting me stuff like, let's keep this civil for everyone's sake, or we can handle this like adults. Lady, you've been playing Monopoly with my bank accounts for the last year, and you want civility? Cute. Oh, and her family? Yeah, they were fully in on it too. Her brother especially, guy kept sending me these passive-aggressive texts about how sometimes marriages just don't work out, bro. Bro? You're living rent-free off my credit line. Sit down. One night, her mom actually had the nerve to call me and suggest we settle everything quietly to avoid drama. She hit me with that classic fake concerned voice too, like we all just want what's best for everyone involved. I said sure, I absolutely agree. Best for everyone. Especially me. And hung up. I could practically hear her jaw hit the floor through the phone. But here's where the real kicker lands. While they're busy trying to sweep things under the rug, my guy finds the smoking gun. A wire transfer from her brother's business to a private account registered under her maiden name. 6 figures. Just sitting there. Untouched. Like some kind of emergency escape fund. I'm staring at this PDF thinking, how stupid do you have to be to leave breadcrumbs this obvious? Honestly, that's the moment I stopped feeling hurt and just got laser focused. I mean, yeah, emotionally it still stung, but at that point it was about principle. About making sure they didn't get to walk away from this thinking they pulled one over on me. You mess with my trust? Fine. You mess with my money? Different game. So yeah, the trap was set. They just didn't know they were already standing in it. And the best part? They were still smiling like everything was under control. Like the house wasn't already on fire behind them. At this point, man, I wasn't even surprised anymore. I mean, sure, seeing six figures stashed away behind my back kinda punches you right in the gut, but honestly, it just confirmed everything I already suspected. Like, yeah, good job team, you fully committed to the scam. You played the long game. You set the trap. But you forgot to check if the guy you're screwing over knows how to play chess too. Spoiler alert, I do. And I had more pieces left on the board than they thought. So while they're out there posting their little brunch selfies, smiling at family dinners, pretending everything's just amicable, I'm building my case like a damn prosecutor. My forensic guy? Still digging. My lawyer? Dialed in like a sniper. Every single dollar they touched, every dumb text they sent, every shady consulting fee to her brother, all of it? Documented. Backed up. Triple copied. Honestly, I had enough evidence to make Netflix call me for a docuseries. And still, they kept playing nice. Like, she'd text me these little guilt-trippy messages, I hope we can keep this mature for everyone's sake. Yeah, sure, let's keep it mature while you're siphoning my future retirement into your brother's business. Give me a break. And the way her family kept inserting themselves into it? Bro, if I had $1 for every time her mother called me with some fake concerned speech about how it's not healthy to hold onto bitterness, I could have paid for the forensic guy twice. Like, lady, your daughter tried to rob me blind, bitterness isn't my issue, fraud is. And her brother? Oh man, that dude. He actually sent me a text saying, bro, sometimes relationships just fall apart. You gotta let go and move forward. Like, dude, you literally took money from my joint account and called it a loan for your startup that doesn't exist. You think I'm losing sleep over heartbreak? No. I'm losing sleep calculating how many criminal charges this might turn into for you. That's where I'm at. By now, the accountant uncovered offshore stuff too, small enough to think it'd fly under the radar but big enough to piss me off. Little PayPal transfers, foreign wire routing, shell accounts, crap that screams I googled how to hide assets during divorce at 2 a.m. like some amateur. Honestly, it was kinda embarrassing how sloppy it was. Like if you're gonna steal, at least steal like a professional. But you know what? The beauty of it was just how calm I was staying through all of it. I didn't blow up, didn't send angry texts, didn't get sucked into some shouting match where they could say I was being emotional. No, bro. I was ice cold, which made them nervous. You could feel it. The texts got more frequent, the calls got more desperate. Little just checking in voicemails started coming in from people I hadn't heard from in years. They weren't worried about me breaking down. They were worried about what I was building behind the scenes. And the truth is, by that point, I was past caring about the marriage part. That was already dead and buried. Now it was about not letting these clowns walk away like they pulled off some slick little heist. You screw with my trust? Fine. You screw with my name and my money? Now you're playing a different sport. And I don't lose that game. Ever. Here's where things really started to shift. Man. Up to this point, I was just stacking evidence like it was a hobby. But once we got the full paper trail together, my lawyer, he straight up grinned. And when your lawyer grins, you know you're holding a loaded deck. We're talking spreadsheets, transaction logs, cross-referenced accounts, flagged payments, even timestamps that showed her brother logged in from his work IP while moving funds. Honestly, it felt like I was prepping a corporate merger, not a divorce hearing. But whatever, you want to play games. Let's play. The week before the hearing, her side started panicking hard. First, I get a call from her mom, which, by the way, was hilarious because this woman hasn't called me for anything in years unless it was to remind me about some overpriced gift for a family member I barely knew. Now suddenly she's concerned for everyone's well-being and hoping we can avoid unnecessary drama. I just let her talk. The whole speech was basically her soft way of saying, we know you found something and we're scared. Yeah. You should be. Then her brother texts me. This dude, who I remind you still owed me money from some business loan I never agreed to, hits me with the classic, hey man, I know this is complicated. Families go through stuff. Maybe we can work something out without blowing it all up in court. Like bro, you literally committed fraud. You want to negotiate now? Miss me with that. My lawyer, bless him, told me to stay radio silent. The more they talk, the more they dig themselves deeper. So I stayed quiet. And sure enough, the night before court, my ex herself finally called. First time she's directly called me since this whole thing blew up. Her voice? Shaky. You could hear it. The rehearsed lines her lawyer probably fed her falling apart mid-sentence. She starts off with the fake small talk. Hope you're doing okay. I never wanted it to be like this. Blah blah. And then shifts into full damage control. Says we don't need to involve outside people. That maybe we could settle everything with the lawyers privately, no need for court drama. Translation. She wanted to bury the evidence before the judge saw it. And bro, the self-control it took not to snap was Olympic level. Because honestly, I wanted to unload everything right there. But instead, I hit her with the coldest line I had. Don't worry. We'll let the paperwork speak for itself. Dead silence on her end. Call ended 5 seconds later. Now here's the part that still makes me smile. Day of court, we walk in. My team? Calm, organized, folders ready. Her side? Absolute chaos. Her lawyer? Pale. Her brother? Nowhere to be seen, probably out of town conveniently. The judge calls us up, starts reviewing the financial disclosures, and when my lawyer drops that nice little binder full of forensic accounting onto the desk, you could hear a pin drop. Her lawyer stammered for a full minute, flipping pages like maybe the numbers would magically change if he looked hard enough. The judge, deadpan, flipped through it slowly, looked up and said, and I quote, "These are very serious discrepancies. We will need to examine this thoroughly." My ex, she looked like someone pulled the floor out from under her. That moment, that was my payout. Not the money, not the revenge. Just watching them realize they weren't as smart as they thought. That's when it hit me. They built this whole little scheme thinking I was weak because I didn't explode earlier. Nah, I was just playing long ball. After that courtroom moment, you'd think it'd all be smooth sailing, right? Nope. See, that's the part people don't get. These types, they don't quit when they lose. They just pivot to another scam. It's like dealing with some broke-off-brand Bond villain who thinks if he changes the plan fast enough, maybe you'll get tired and give up. Spoiler alert. Not this time. So after court, while everything's still pending, I start getting these concerned family calls. Her aunt, who hasn't spoken to me in literally 5 years, suddenly finds my number and calls, opening with this fake soft voice like, "Hey sweetheart, you know, divorces are hard on everyone. Maybe there's a way to de-escalate before things go public." Translation, they were terrified this mess was gonna get even messier, probably hit the family group chats, and God forbid, Facebook. Honestly, I just let her ramble, put the phone on speaker while making coffee. Every third sentence was basically for the sake of the family name. "Lady, your family name? That ship has sailed, caught fire, and sank." Meanwhile, my ex tried her own little side hustle. She suddenly became super reflective, texting me stuff like, "I've been thinking about everything we went through and I just wish we could have parted on better terms." Right? You mean better terms where you steal money and don't get caught? The audacity. Honestly, I should have framed that text like a damn art piece, call it Delusion 2025. Then came the absolute kicker. Her lawyer sent over some half-baked revised settlement offer like we were bargaining over car parts, not fraud. It was basically, drop all financial claims, everyone keeps their own stuff, and my favorite part, agree to a mutual non-disparagement clause. In plain English? Shut up, take your losses, let her keep what she siphoned, and pretend none of this happened. Yeah, no. Not in this lifetime, pal. What really burned me, though, was how casual they all still acted, like I'd even consider playing along. Like I was supposed to feel guilty for catching them. Like I was the bad guy for protecting my own damn money. You spend years thinking you're building a partnership, turns out you were just their retirement plan the whole time. And they still have the nerve to act like I should compromise? Honestly, bro, there's delusion and then there's Olympic-level gaslighting. I'll give them credit for one thing, though, they never broke character. Even when the judge scheduled the second hearing to review the new evidence, her whole crew still walked in acting like nothing was wrong. Smiling, small talk, fake polite nods like we were just here for a parking ticket dispute. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with my lawyer and my forensic accountant. Shout out to Tom, dude earned his paycheck knowing full well what was about to drop. And trust me, it was about to drop. Court day number 2. Honestly, walking into that courthouse felt like walking into a bad sequel nobody asked for, except this time I actually had the script. You ever notice how quiet those halls get when everyone knows something's about to blow? That kind of tension where even the damn fluorescent lights feel like they're humming too loud. My lawyer? Calm as ever. Tom, my forensic accountant, sitting next to me like he's about to drop his next album. Dude was practically vibrating with confidence. Meanwhile, her crew filed in wearing their best, we're totally innocent outfits, smiling for show like this was some awkward family brunch instead of a financial ambush. Judge walks in. We go through the formalities. Her lawyer starts rambling again, same song and dance, misunderstandings, marital miscommunication, unfortunate paperwork discrepancies. Yeah, man. Sure. I sat there sipping my water like I was at some comedy club watching an open mic. It would have been funny if it wasn't my damn money on the line. Then came our turn. My lawyer didn't waste time with theatrics. He just nodded to Tom. That man stood up, carried 2 big folders and 1 damn flash drive, plugged into the monitor, and dropped the hammer. Spreadsheet after spreadsheet popped up, tracking every gift sent to her brother's account. Wire transfers, backdated withdrawals, sudden business expenses that all conveniently started 3 months before she filed. Every dollar accounted for. With timestamps. With signatures. With bank officers' stamps. I mean, it was surgical. Her face? Pale. Like full-on chalk white. Her brother? He actually looked like he forgot how to breathe for a second. I almost offered him my water. Judge leans forward, asks one question. Did your client disclose these transactions prior to today? Silence. You could have heard a pin drop. Her lawyer's mouth opened, nothing came out. Stuttered once. Twice. Then finally, Your Honor, we were unaware of these specific. Judge cuts him off. You were unaware of $240,000 being moved to a relative's private account? The lawyer starts sweating. Literally dabs his forehead with a tissue. I just sat back, arms crossed, watching it all unfold like front row at the Super Bowl. And right there, that was the shift. That moment where all their fake confidence just cracked like cheap glass. Because now it wasn't about me being the bitter ex anymore. Now it was fraud, perjury, asset hiding, straight up illegal. And suddenly everyone started realizing this wasn't some messy divorce fight anymore. This was court-level serious. Real consequences. Real penalties. Her family? Man, you should have seen their faces. Her mom, who just 2 weeks ago called me too dramatic for hiring a forensic accountant, suddenly couldn't make eye contact. Her dad, who'd been chest-puffing his way around pretending I was being spiteful, now looked like he wanted to vanish into the bench. Funny how accountability makes everyone a little quiet, huh? And my ex? She sat frozen. Shoulders locked, jaw tight, doing that fast blink thing people do when they're holding back panic tears. I'll be real with you, for a split second I almost felt bad. Then I remembered those late nights I spent digging through credit reports, calling banks, finding missing money while she was smiling to my face, acting like everything was fine. Yeah. Nah. That sympathy window closed a long time ago. The judge called a recess. Her lawyer whispered like 20 things into her ear. They left the room looking like they just walked out of a car crash. My lawyer looked at me, barely hiding the grin. Tom fist bumped me like we just hit a game-winning shot. And honestly, it kind of felt like that. But that was only part of it. Because after the break, things got even messier. And this is where the real fun started. We come back from recess and you could feel it, the vibe in the room flipped. Before, her side had this smug energy like they were running the show. Yeah? They looked like they were just hoping the judge wouldn't slap someone with charges right there. My lawyer stayed cool, no flexing, just clean, sharp. That's why I hired him. Guy doesn't swing wild, he waits and throws the knockout when it actually matters. The judge comes back in, opens with one sentence that pretty much sets the tone. In light of the new financial evidence, we'll be revisiting both asset division and potential sanctions. Boom. You could almost hear her lawyer's soul leave his body. And her? She couldn't even sit still. Kept fidgeting with her bracelet like that was gonna magically undo transferring $250,000 to her brother. Honestly, I would have paid extra just to get a close-up of her dad's face when the judge mentioned criminal referrals might be discussed depending on how cooperative everyone wanted to be moving forward. Yeah. This wasn't just divorce court anymore. This was the deep end. Then came the part I'd been waiting for. My lawyer slides over Exhibit C. Yep, we had a damn alphabet of exhibits, which included emails between her and her brother basically outlining the whole plan. The delay filing till money clears conversation. The dad's got a friend who can help if things get messy nonsense. All of it. She tried to cover her mouth when the emails popped up on the court monitor like she physically couldn't believe we had them. Newsflash, sweetheart, nothing stays deleted if you're sloppy. Digital forensics is a beautiful thing. That's why Tom is worth every penny. Dude pulled deleted backups from her iCloud I didn't even know existed. Like, honestly, there were screenshots I hadn't seen till that morning. It was like watching a live autopsy of her entire scam right there in front of everyone. The judge paused, looked at her lawyer, asked, "Is there anything you wish to clarify before I proceed?" That man sat there frozen like somebody pressed pause on his brain. Finally muttered some weak request for a continuance, which the judge shut down immediately. You've had sufficient time. We're moving forward. Her mom was sitting 2 rows back, clutching her pearls like this was some damn soap opera. I swear, if she had smelling salts, she would have used them. At that point, you could see her defense starting to collapse. Her brother wasn't even in the room anymore. Rumor was he dipped the second recess got called. Smart, honestly. When the paper trail leads straight to you, might as well start pricing lawyers early. The judge started listing sanctions. Financial penalties. Potential charges if full cooperation wasn't given. He flat out said her actions bordered on fraud and could have easily been criminal if we hadn't brought it to light early enough. Her family just sat there, shrinking into their chairs, realizing this wasn't going to be some quiet little slap on the wrist. And me? I didn't say a damn word. Sat back, hands folded, watching years of manipulation finally catch up to her. Because here's the thing most people don't get, it's not about revenge. It's about facts. Cold, hard receipts. And watching her face those facts in real time? That was better than any cheap gotcha moment. She built this disaster brick by brick. I just turned the lights on. But man, if you think it couldn't get messier? Oh, trust me. What happened after court that day made all of this look like the opening act. You know how people say it's over once the judge rules? Yeah, no. That's not how real life works. The court dropped the hammer, sure, but the circus kept running. Her side tried to spin it like they were misinformed victims who simply trusted bad advice. Translation. Let's blame the brother and pretend she just accidentally moved hundreds of thousands like it was some PayPal glitch. Spoiler, nobody bought it. Few days later, I'm grabbing coffee. Regular morning, nothing fancy. and her mother calls me. Yeah. Not texts. Not emails. Calls. Like it's 1997. I let it go to voicemail because honestly, I didn't even have the patience to hear whatever guilt trip she rehearsed. But curiosity got me. I listened. And bro, this woman. She had the audacity to say, "It's still not too late to keep this private for the sake of family dignity." Family dignity? Lady, your daughter tried laundering money out of my pocket and you're worried about saving face for the Christmas card list. Anyway, the fallout got even messier behind the scenes. Word spread fast, her brother's little business, which was basically a half-legal consulting scam, tanked overnight. One by one, his partners started backing out, especially when subpoenas landed. My forensic guy wasn't done either, kept digging. Found more little side accounts they thought were invisible. Offshore. Stupid. Predictable. I passed everything along to the DA. I'm not playing cleanup crew for these clowns. Let the system handle it. Then, and you can't make this up, she tried reaching out directly. Sent a long, dramatic email about how she lost sight of who we were and how financial strain made her vulnerable to bad choices. Vulnerable? Huh? Girl, you moved money like you were running some Netflix cartel docuseries. Miss me with the poetry. And get this. She actually had the balls to suggest maybe we could find some kind of closure privately before things escalate beyond repair. I literally laughed, like out loud, sitting there, drinking black coffee, reading this novella of manipulation. They always pivot to "let's fix this quietly" after you blow up their safety net. Funny how that works. Meanwhile, my lawyer's fielding calls from her new attorney. Yeah, she fired the first one after he practically passed out in court. New guys throwing out settlement feelers like we're negotiating over a used car price. Bro, no. The time for deals was before you tried getting my finances behind my back. Now, it's discovery, depositions, criminal referrals, and court calendars. This is business now. Nothing personal. Just consequences. One of my boys called it perfectly. He goes, "Man, you're not even playing offense. You're just letting gravity do its thing." Exactly. You don't need revenge when the truth does the heavy lifting. And while all this chaos unfolded, I gotta be honest, my life got real quiet. Quiet in the good way. Bills got paid by me. House, mine, credit score, climbing like a champ. Nobody siphoning accounts. Nobody draining cards. Just me, my job, my space. It's insane how peaceful life feels when you finally clear out people who only saw you as a resource. The best part? I slept like a rock every night knowing I never even raised my voice. Just receipts, bro. Just cold receipts. But here's the kicker. What happened at that final hearing? What she pulled last minute? Yeah, you'll want to buckle up for that part. So we get to the final hearing. You'd think after months of watching her whole game unravel, she'd just sit there, take the L and move on. Nope, of course not. Because people like her, they always got one last Hail Mary in their back pocket. Her lawyer stood up, full confidence, like this man's about to drop the greatest twist since Ocean's 11. He starts talking about extenuating circumstances, emotional distress, and get this, tries to argue that I created a toxic financial dynamic that pressured her into moving the funds for her mental health. Bro, I sat there, deadpan, not even blinking. The judge literally leaned back like even he couldn't believe the level of BS flying across that courtroom. My lawyer? Calm, quiet. Then he reaches under the table, pulls out the updated forensic audit with timestamps, wire logs, offshore account trails, screenshots, everything. Just slides it across the table like it's a lunch order. Judge takes one look at it, sighs and goes, "We're done here." It was like watching a balloon deflate, her face pale. Her lawyer just quietly packed up like someone canceled his entire weekend plans. The courtroom was silent except for papers rustling. I didn't say a word. No speech. No, I told you so. Just stood up, buttoned my jacket, and walked the hell out. You don't celebrate in front of a sinking ship. You let it sink. Outside the courthouse, her mom actually tried to stop me. Yeah. Again. Full tears, full drama. Asking if there's anything left between us worth saving. Honestly, I almost laughed. I just looked her dead in the eye and said, "Yeah, my freedom." And I kept walking. Now, my accounts are clean. My house is quiet. And my circle? Smaller than ever. But it's real. Solid. No parasites. Moral of the story? That who you build with, man. Love doesn't mean blind trust. And sometimes the people you'd go to war for will be the ones who hand you the knife. Anyway, that's it. No fairy tale ending. Just peace. And that's more than enough.